One principle underlies every sale I've ever made. That's millions over the past decade. Without it, I actually don't think I'd be here today. First, let's go over 3 shifts that'll help you feel so much better about selling and naturally make more sales. After that, you'll see the way they tie into the one principle that's literally been worth millions to me, plus how to use it in your business. The truth is, you don't have to be slick with your words or know exactly what to say to be persuasive and turn every objection on its head. You also don't have to be salesy or directly message people. That does not feel good to me, so I don't do it. But that is what I grew up thinking selling was. You might have a similar childhood memory. My high school had just made a new rule. If you could sell 20 pins for the school fundraiser, you would get a free ticket to prom. Prom tickets were $200, which my parents were not paying. So I knew this was my one chance to get to go. Thankfully, one of my neighbors took pity on me and helped me sell 19 pins at her workplace. I was just 1 pen away from being able to go to prom. But when I begged my dad to sell just 1 pin at his work, I'll never forget what he said. We don't do that. To him, selling anything felt like lowering yourself or not being in integrity. That moment taught me to feel that way about selling too. But then I got my first client completely by accident online. I'd been helping her for free for about 2 weeks, and I wasn't even thinking of trying to sell her anything. But one day I got this email from her out of the blue. "You've helped me so much for free. I know you will be able to help me so much more if we work together. How can I pay you?" That moment changed everything for me. People actually want to pay you. You're not begging or forcing or tricking anyone into buying from you, which feels horrible. You're just giving people what they want, which feels so much better. High five to sales that feel good. But even knowing that, it can sometimes feel like it's you against your potential clients. That's why it can feel like they're rejecting you if they don't buy from you. But that's where this next shift comes in to help you overcome that fear of rejection. I believe I first heard this from respected serial entrepreneur and investor Roland Frazier. He said, "When I'm in a negotiation, I like to sit on the same side of the table as the other party, because that's what we are. We are on the same side." That applies for your sales too. On one hand, there's your dream client who wants to buy from you. On the other hand, there's you who wants them to buy from you. You have the same goal. The only thing left is to figure out what needs to happen to make that goal feel good to both of you. We'll cover how to do that in just a bit. But this is such a powerful shift because this way, it completely changes how you think about a lost sale. It's not that you were rejected by your potential client. The two of you simply couldn't figure out a way to make it a win-win for the two of you. But it has nothing to do with you or your offer not being good enough. But that's also not the only shift you get from visualizing yourself sitting on the same side of the table as your dream client. There's this common unwisdom that can kill your sales. The customer is always right. That makes it feel like your clients have all the power, which means all you can do is try your best to hope they'll buy from you. But the reality is, good selling is not a power play. It's a relationship, which means you have just as much say in deciding who you want to have that customer relationship with. When you prioritize yourself this way, it changes the context from one person being more powerful than the other to a relationship of mutual respect and appreciation. The easiest way to do this is to get clear on who you sell to and who you don't. For example, in my business, we don't sell to people who are rude, who are looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, or who don't share our values about creating a business that's impactful and value-driven. When you do this, you will feel so much more empowered to sell because now you are treating yourself and thus being treated with more respect and appreciation. But of course, it's not just about you. For you to make more sales, your client has to feel that way too. And this is where I've done something different from the norm. But this principle is backed by research too. A study by social psychologist Charlene Nemeth studied arguments done in a devil's advocate style, where you take the other person's side for the sake of having a well-rounded argument. Interestingly, he found that when you do this, your listeners are more likely to agree with your original argument. Nemeth concluded that this happens because when you're doing this, you're addressing concerns that your listener, in this case your dream client, already has anyways. Knowing this, now it feels like common sense. Your clients are smart. No matter how much they want to buy from you, they're also going to have fears and questions come up. The more upfront you can be with them, the more you'll proactively address their concerns without having to handle objections. Plus, you'll also naturally build more trust, which will help them buy from you too. It's very different from a lot of common advice to hype up your promises or just focus on the features and benefits of your offer. But I think it's what's helped me stand out in a very competitive industry and have staying power for the past near decade. Same goes for you. But it's not like you have to bash yourself either. All you have to do is be willing to have an honest conversation, even when it magnifies your weaknesses. Let me give you a few rules of thumb to help you get started. First, call out and even highlight things that might turn people off from buying. For example, most of my courses have a no refund policy. I truly believe it's better for everyone. It turns away people who aren't ready to buy and saves them time and money. Plus, it saves my team time dealing with refunds. So I don't try to hide that we don't offer refunds. I write full paragraphs explaining and then highlight those paragraphs so it's really hard to miss. Second, make it clear who your offer is not for. Because when you do this, it also makes it more clear who your offer is actually for. For example, one of my more advanced courses teaches you how to build systems so that you can have a true freedom business and work less. But it doesn't teach you the sexy stuff of how to market yourself or get clients. My ideal clients for this course already know that. So I call it out, which saves us from confused and unhappy customers and makes it even more clear to my dream clients for this course that it's for them. Third, own any weaknesses in your offer. Nobody expects you to be perfect, but they will appreciate your honesty. For example, I sell 2 types of digital products. My courses are super concise, packaged, and planned. They take a lot of money and time to create. But my trainings, while still being incredibly valuable, are not as organized. I literally call this out on the sales page, but not in a negative way, because there's also a huge benefit. Because I don't have to be as concise, I'm actually able to teach in more detail. Plus, I'm able to pass on the savings by selling my trainings at a lower cost. When you bring it back to the win-win for you and your dream clients, that is when you'll make the most sales. That's why in this next video, I break down the skills you need to be able to do that. These 3 simple skills are not the ones you've heard before, but they'll make a huge difference in your naturally being able to make a lot more sales.